I want to explain in particular how goal mapping works and how I believe it fits so well with energy therapy and healing of all different types. And so if you have questions as we go through, write them in the chat. And if you'd like to let us know where you're joining from tonight. Are you in the UK? Are you in Ireland? Are you abroad somewhere? Where are you joining from tonight? And what are some of the challenges that you face in doing the work you do and helping people to follow through and become healed? Again, write in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer as many of the questions as we can. I know Edmund will also help to answer questions. And I'm going to spotlight my screen just to make it large for everyone and go into the start of the presentation.
Brian, I'm going to turn up. I'm going to sign out and then I'm going to sign back in again, just in case you're wondering where I am.
Okay, Edmund.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
I believe that life is a path. And one of the strange things is that everyone's walking a path called life, and yet so few know where they are going or why. And that's why I created the Life Path Journey, because as we move along our path in life, even if we don't know where we're going, there will still be hurdles to clear, there will be chasms to span, and of course, mountains to climb along our journey. And I created the Life Path Journey, which consists of my 4 mapping systems: goal mapping, life mapping, action mapping, and self mapping. They all fit together, they all apply to a different aspect of success. Tonight, we're going to be looking at goal mapping. It helps people move along their path in a powerful way. We also have other tools we use like Life Balance Check and Purpose Finder, Belief Builder and Buster, so that people can journey their path and, of course, live their dream. We never really know where our path is going. And my path started out being born into a travelling funfair family. This is my father's funfair. This was the life I was born into. In fact, this picture was taken the year I was born, 1961. And my father there in the bottom of the picture. I didn't go to school very much because we were always travelling around with funfairs. I never took any exams. I left school just before 13, without qualifications, of course, and unable to read and write properly, partly because of my lifestyle that I was born into, mostly because I have dyslexia. So I always found the academic side of life quite difficult. And as is expected with most funfair children, you leave school early, don't really go to school all year anyway, and you work with the family business. And so I become an early entrepreneur. My 13th birthday present was a rocket bubblegum machine, and I saved up my pennies and I bought a pinball machine and then Space Invaders when I was about 15. Then at 18, I opened a disco, become very successful with it, did that for 13 years. But at the end of those 13 years, it come to an end because sometimes it's not what we do that changes our life. Sometimes life changes because of what's happening around us. And what happened for me and my family business is that tourism changed. My disco was on the Isle of Wight, and in the late 1980s, early 90s, tourism changed. People started taking their main summer holiday in the Mediterranean. All of my customers stopped coming to the Isle of Wight and instead went to Ibiza. And so there was simply no business to be had, and the family business went out of business. And at age 29, found myself in £1 million of debt from the family business. My home was repossessed. My marriage come to an end. I had no qualifications because of leaving school just before 13. Had no work experience. I'd never taken a job. I'd always worked for my father or myself. And at age 29, I still couldn't read and write properly. Life was looking particularly dark. I was very scared. And then something wonderful happened. I met this amazing life coach who started to teach me about the power and the science of positive thinking. And he showed me how I could use positive thinking to turn my life around, and in particular, to overcome my learning challenges. And what I learned from him helped me to teach myself to read within 1 year. I started to pay back a little of my debt. I got a job as a salesperson. I gradually improved my performance. But what most people were interested in was the personal development books that I was reading constantly. I learned to speed read within 18 months. And I was reading a book a week on personal development because my coach had a huge library, and everything that I read, I would borrow one of his books. I was trying it out in my life, and life improved. And a lot of people wanted to know how I was doing that. And so I started to make presentations. I felt more confident than ever before. I had more belief in myself than ever before. Now, here's a strange thing. When I was young, a lot of the other children would envy me because I had amusement arcade machines that my father owned, and I had the keys and I could give people free goes. And I used to pretend to be confident. I wasn't really confident, it was a mask. I was pretending to be confident. When I had the disco, and it was, again, very popular. A lot of people thought that I was very confident, but my confidence came from what I owned and the fact that other people were impressed with the disco, or they were impressed with my house or my car. It wasn't true natural confidence. It was, to be honest, arrogance. And then when my life crashed, well, so did my confidence and my belief in myself. And it was meeting this man that really changed all that for me. And in particular, taking his training around personal development and then being able to borrow his books. He sadly died very young. I had him as my coach for about 5 years, and then he died suddenly of a heart condition. But in those 5 years, he really helped me take my life forward. And I would make all these presentations for anyone that was interested about the power of positive thinking and how important it is to set goals. And then one day, a training organization from London contacted me and said, would you become one of our trainers? We're interested in teaching personal development, and you've been recommended to us. And so I joined them, and then I started going all around the UK, making presentations on the fundamental principles of manifestation. There are important principles to understand, principles to learn, and once you learn them, live by them. Because each principle, each natural law is like the combination that unlocks your true power and potential. If you do not understand the principles, or if you do not live by them in harmony and have them in alignment, then the lock doesn't open. Only when the principles are in harmony and alignment do you unleash your true natural power, not only to manifest your reality, but of course to help others in various ways. So many people said to me in my early presentations, why is this not taught in schools? We spend so many years in education, you won't get even an hour on the science of positive thinking and the science of goal setting, the science of how you build self-belief. Why is it not being taught? It became a question that stayed in my mind and caused me to think about it endlessly. I narrowed my reading down only onto books about goal setting and self-belief. I read all of the books I could find. I spoke to all of the experts. And I realized many teachers in school don't understand it themselves. They've never been taught it. So, of course, they're not teaching it on to other children. It doesn't form a standard part of the curriculum. Driving my car late, midnight through London, I had a flash of insight in my mind, which has become goal mapping. Now, often in literature, I will be described as the creator of goal mapping, and I, in many ways, am. But the point I want to make here is that I didn't sit down and design it or invent it. And my mind opened and I saw it complete and whole. This is me in 1994 when I first envisaged goal mapping. Now, the message I've always shared, and my deepest belief, is that your thoughts create your reality. The way each of us think influences how we feel. It influences the decisions we make. It influences the actions we take. And all of that influences life around us. Your thoughts create your reality in yourself and in your life. Now, the key is to hold on to your best thoughts. And the main technique that I have shared with people over more than 30 years now to help them hold on to their best thoughts is goal mapping. This is one of my very early goal maps here drawn on paper. And many people these days like to create their goal map digital online. Now, if you're new to goal mapping, it's a little bit like a vision board, but combined with SMART goals and so much more. And this is what we'll be explaining through the first part of the presentation tonight. And then we're going to move into the practical aspect of creating a map. And then after that, I want to show how you follow through with the map and use it, because it's a daily ritual to follow. It's how the digital goal mapping looks. It's the same basic principle of words and pictures, but with the digital, there's increased power because of how you can use personal images, family photos. And I'll explain as we move through why this is important. So here's the earliest goal map I still have. This is from 1996. My very early ones from 94 and 95 are lost somewhere during moving houses over the years. This one from 1996 is expressing, I want to write a goal mapping book, sell a lot of copies, speak in lots of different countries, make presentations in a business, in a church, in a school, be on TV, radio, etc., etc. All of those things have happened many times over. The goal mapping book has never been out of print. It's translated into many different languages, including faraway places like Chinese, Japanese. The English version is in its second edition. It's been phenomenally successful. It's published by the oldest spiritual publisher in England. So even though it's a personal development book, it's actually published by a spiritual publisher, Watkins. And they've been an amazing publisher for me over the years. I've shared the stage with some of the world's top speakers: Brenda Bouchard, Keith Cunningham, T. Harv Eker, John Gray, the man who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus, Judy May Murphy, Janet Atwood from The Passion Test. I've spoken in more than 30 countries. This is in Brussels a few years ago, often very big presentations with several thousands of people. And there's been good media and magazine articles, this one from CNN about using goal mapping in your career. My big goal is to help 7 million people. I want to help lift 7 million lives. It's a goal I set 25 years ago now. And wow, we're at about 6 million, we think. Hard to know when the numbers are big. I never thought I would achieve it, but I thought set a big goal and go for it. To this day, I'm still grateful that I was given this technique, and I do count it as a gift from the universe. And that's why I make a lot of free presentations, because I feel it's my duty to share it. The books have been successful, so have the products, audios, videos, now the online system. I'm making presentations every week. I've just got back from Italy, where I've been making presentations together with my partner, Vicky. But the thing that's helping most, has reached the most people, making the biggest difference, is people like Edmund, who have chosen to become certified in goal mapping. And it's a great joy for me that we now have 1,641 certified coaches, therapists, trainers, school teachers, business leaders, community leaders, all sorts of people choose to join the community of certified life lifters using goal mapping to help make a difference in the world. And they often combine it with other things that they teach. Some are working in the corporate world. Some are public, focused with their work. Many are therapists. Some are school teachers. Jill and Katrina here from the UK focus on business presentations, as does Marina here from Greece, who's a keynote speaker and owns her own training company and does a lot of big contracts. There are all manner of businesses, large and small, that use goal mapping. Microsoft alone has shared goal mapping with 200,000 people. It's a strange thing that the technique is so diverse. Within the trainer community, the youngest person joined at just 14. The oldest person is in her 80s. Each of them working within the area of their choice and using goal mapping in their own particular way, and often combining it with something they're passionate about. Recently, I was in Italy with this person here, Emily, whose passion is helping school children, but she's also a Reiki teacher, and she combines goal mapping with her energy therapy work. Felix here in Nigeria has presented to over 30,000 children. I think he's now up to 35,000 recently. We have sports people using the program like Catalin. She's 3 times world champion kickboxer. She says that goal mapping gave her the edge, and that's why she wanted to teach it to other people. We've got football clubs using goal mapping, and rugby clubs using goal mapping, and adventurers that climb mountains using goal mapping. We've also got Suzanne here, recently run across Iceland, won her medal for the Great Norse Run. And Louise here was a primary school teacher, and although she liked it, she didn't love it, because what called her in her heart was to become a sculptress. And she's become an award-winning sculptress for both Italy and in New York with her work. And she always gives the credit to goal mapping, helping her to make that life change. Of course, goal mapping is used in well-being. Sandra here has a fantastic organization called Slim Pod. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people all around the world. She created her business by doing a goal map. She was on one of my workshops. She was a marketing executive, wasn't enjoying it, did a goal map. Her dream was to become a therapist. And at first, she became a hypnotherapist, but then she had this idea of building an app with hypnotherapy that would help people slim, and it's become a massive success. And along with people following her process, she recommends them that they do a goal map for their own ideal health and weight and fitness, etc. And we've got people crediting goal mapping with helping them lower their diabetes, like Cephas here from Ghana. And of course, Edmund, who's used goal mapping for many years and has lowered his cholesterol with it. Richard Gilbert gave up alcohol. And we have a fantastic report on how well goal mapping has helped people with alcohol addiction. This has come from the South of England coordinator saying it's some of the best results he's seen in 20 years. After my initial life coach passed away, I was lucky enough to meet an amazing lady who became my next coach and also spiritual teacher. I was with her recently in Italy, Bruna Ferrari. She is an energy worker, healer, Reiki master, but a whole range of disciplines. She is the most amazing woman I've ever met, except for my partner, Vicky, of course. But she is like a mother to both of us, a great teacher, a great soul. And likewise, so is Edmund. And I love this picture of you with the angel wings, Edmund, because I know it's how many people in the goal mapping community view you. Now, here's one of my goal maps. This is my goal map about raising self-esteem and self-confidence. Here's my partner Vicky's goal map, again focused on self-love. Goal mapping is not just a technique like we will explore soon, it's also a mindset workshop. And I want to share some of the mindset workshop with you tonight, as well as explaining the technique. Because once you understand the technique, you can use it again and again and again for the rest of your life in all the different life areas. And we have free downloads of the paper templates, and you can create as many maps as you want. And we've got a free level of the online program where you can also create your map. And I'll show you these things as we move through the program tonight. But first of all, let us look at our subject tonight, which is all about self-belief and also, of course, self-worth or self-esteem, self-confidence. They are all connected, as we are about to explore. Feeling worthwhile as a person starts with thinking positive thoughts about yourself. I like to make things as simple as possible. And I think a lot of training is often overly complicated, or that people waffle a great deal to get to the point. The thoughts you think trigger the release of the chemicals that create the feelings you feel. And together, your thought and feeling influence your behavior. Think a positive thought about yourself, it creates a happy feeling. If you think the thought, I like myself, that raises your self-esteem, and with that comes authentic confidence and self-belief. We're going to explore the science of this shortly. I work with all manner of people, and I notice very often people that are insecure and not confident are not thinking positively about themselves. They're not thinking, I like myself. They are focused very often on what they don't like about themselves. Many people become overly focused on what is wrong with them. The more we focus on what's wrong with us, the more we release negative chemicals that send us down, but also limit our self-belief. And this isn't my opinion. You will find the same thing written over thousands of years. And now, with modern scientific brain scanning equipment, we can show it. It can be proven. And I hope to prove it to you tonight in a very simple way. Positive thoughts create positive feelings. Positive feelings produce high self-worth. High self-worth, feeling worthwhile, feeling like you're good enough, I'm worth it, is what produces authentic confidence. You can have a false confidence like I used to have years ago, where you've got a mask on and really the confidence isn't confidence, it's arrogance. It's a hard mask. Or sometimes people feel confident because they're good at something, or they're confident because they got a lot of nice possessions. But true, authentic confidence comes from a deep down feeling that you're okay. The more that you are thinking the thought, I like myself, life's okay, that doesn't mean you ignore what's wrong, but you place your dominant focus on what is right. For many years, I've been using this analogy of the human radio. I expect you've had the experience of driving in your car, the radio's playing, but as you move across country, you lose the connection to the radio station and you start to hear some and distortion coming through the radio. It only takes a small adjustment on the dial to bring through a clear reception again. Life is this way. When we're moving through life, when we're on our life path, often we lose the connection. And again, it takes only the smallest of adjustments to bring that connection strong again. And the tuning dial for our human radio is our beliefs. And you can see here on the central dial of the human radio, beliefs right in the center. And then around the outside, starting at the top, we've got thought, feeling, action, habit, results, and react. This is known as a self-actualization cycle. We are all living in one, but most people are unaware of it. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your thoughts and feelings influence your actions. That creates your habits. Your habits shape your results in life. Because many people are unaware of this cycle, many people are also reactive. And sometimes when we react in the wrong way or we overreact, this cycle becomes a downward spiral. And tonight we're going to look at how we can make it an upward spiral. Many of our beliefs are formed when we're very young. Before we are at really a conscious level to be able to make an evaluation, is that true or not true? Many people live their life with beliefs that were formed in early childhood that are still influencing them, and yet they're unaware of it. Because once we form a belief, it doesn't sit in our conscious mind, it drops down into our subconscious. And it's like a little whispering voice to our subconscious, telling us what to do and how we should be and where we should go and what we like and what we don't like. Now, basically, there are two types of belief. Empowering belief, which equal I can, and limiting belief, which equal I can't. And all of the different beliefs are meant to serve us. I'm on a third level balcony overlooking the sea on the south side of the Isle of Wight. I've got a limiting belief that I can't jump off of that third level balcony without injury. That's actually a good limiting belief to have because it keeps me safe. But many people form limiting beliefs about themselves as a person or what they can do in life. And sometimes it's just the everyday, regular conversation, repeated casual comments from parents, friends, siblings, life, social media, but repeated casual comments when we're very young and we're not evaluating, is that true for me? Is that not true for me? Well, they become big influences on us. One that I grew up with was, you can't leave the table, Brian, until you've eaten all the food on your plate. Now, as a young boy that wants to run off and play with his friends and do a lot of things, it's probably a good belief. And my mother grew up during the wartime and ration books, and she had this belief about food is scarce and we need to eat all the food on the plate. There comes a point when we've grown enough that we need to make a decision. Do I really want to eat all the food on my plate, or am I going to push it away with a little bit on? It was only after I got into personal development and started to question my beliefs that I realized how controlled I was by these beliefs that I picked up in early childhood. Repeated casual comments become influencing beliefs. Now, it's one thing to be told, Brian, you've got to eat all the food on your plate before you can leave the table. But here's what I've often experienced when I'm coaching people is they have a deep core belief that they're not good enough. And it's come from too much criticism when they were young, or sometimes it's too much comparison. What's your problem? Your sister's doing it. Your brother can do it. All the other children can do it. Why can't you do it? When you overly compare a child to other children or to criteria such as exams at school, everyone else got good grades. Why haven't you got good grades? When you overly compare a child, what the child starts to link up at an unconscious level is, I'm not as good as those other kids. I'm not as good as that exam that I've got to pass. That must mean that those other kids, they are better than me. And I am less than them. And that deep-seated belief and feeling that you are less than someone else gradually develops in adult life into the feeling of worthlessness. Worthlessness. I'm not good enough is the core of worthlessness. And many people that have a high level of low self-belief and low self-esteem and feel this worthlessness go into self-sabotage in some way in their life, of their health, of their wealth, maybe of their relationships. They drive away good people and they're attracted sometimes to the wrong people because they feel they don't deserve it. They're not good enough. They are worth less than others. Here's that cycle from the radio. Belief in the center, then moving around the outside. Thought, feeling, action, habit, results, and react. If we condense this down and we just call it self, all of us have a high self, which is connected to spirit, seat of the soul, inspired inner wisdom, its right brain. And in balance, we have a low self, which evolves from our animal ancestry. It's the home of our ego, left brain, and is all of our survival instinct. As we move along the path of life, sometimes we're on a high and we spiral up and we shine, and sometimes we're on a low and we fall down into shadow. When we're on a high, we feel worthwhile. But when we're on a low, it's the opposite. We feel worth less. On a high, we feel secure. We know we're okay. But when we're on a low, we feel insecure, not good enough in some way. On a high, we're free. Free to be ourselves, free to speak our mind, free to live our life our own way, free to make changes, change ourselves if we wish to. But the more we fall into our low self, the more chained we become. Chained to other people's opinions of how we should be, chained to society's norms, and many people becoming chained to bad habit patterns that are killing them, but they believe they can't break free. High self people are open. When we're in our low self, we're closed. In our high self, we're operating from a core energy of love. But in our low self, we are coming from fear and often using it on others around us, as we're seeing too often in the world today. This is what's happening on the inside. How's it look on the outside? Well, in our high self, we've got a genuine depth of character. But in our low self, we've just got a thin veneer of personality. Personality comes from the Latin persona. It means mask. It's not the real person, it's just the mask. Character is deep. Character is genuine. Personality is often false. Personality can be like a chameleon where it changes, and someone is one way with one group of people and very different with another group of people, but not often being their true self. High self people are purpose-centered. They've got a mission that's bigger than them. They're trying to make a difference in the world. But it's the opposite in the low self, ego-centered. High self, choose. Even when things go wrong, even when physically maybe things are really difficult, they choose. They choose their thoughts, they choose their feelings, they choose their behavior. But low self, blame. It's the opposite of responsibility, the opposite of choosing, blame. Blame society, blame other people, blame situation and circumstance, but not often take responsibility and choose. High self people living from a positive motivation, and low self living from a negative motivation. And the game of life as we walk our path is to keep our thinking and feeling above the line. Even when we're on a down day, stay conscious, choose a positive thought about ourselves and our situation. This was all part of my early learning from the amazing coach that I met. Of course, I've developed it much over the years and had some wonderful conversations and meetings and help from scientists that have enabled me to put the science behind the information. My personal development journey in my very first workshop started with this quote from Henry Ford: "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." Now, most people have heard it. Whenever I show this in the workshops, you go, "Oh, yeah, I've heard that." But not many people realize there is a science behind this saying. It's a simple science, and we teach it now in schools to children if the school wants a goal mapping workshop. Even young children can understand the essence of it. inside of your head, my head, young child's head, everyone, we all have a lot of brain cells. And the estimate is you have 100 billion brain cells. You're born with them. Now, each one of your 100 billion brain cells or neurons, represented here by the black dot, grows these branches, which are called dendrite, a little wiggly tail, which is called an axon. And when you have a thought, it starts in the middle of the brain cell as an electrical impulse, like a spark. And that impulse travels out along the arms and branches. It wants to connect with another arm and branch, but there's a small gap that separates all of the branches. It's called the synaptic gap. Now, here's the key point, and this is the one to write down and remember. If you choose a positive thought, you see, it is a choice. It can happen naturally because something good happens in your day and you just like it and you think positively about it. But you could be in a really terrible situation and still you have the ability to choose to think your best about it. If you choose to think a positive thought about yourself or your life or your situation, your work, that positive impulse starts as a little spark in the brain cell. It travels out along the axon. It stimulates a neuroreceptor to release a chemical into your brain and body called serotonin. Serotonin's the happy chemical. It's the chemical that creates the feeling of not only happiness, but well-being. It's the same chemical that is triggered in your brain and body if you take an antidepressant drug like Prozac or a party drug like ecstasy. It triggers a release of serotonin. You can do the same thing by just working with your mind. You can try it right now if you want. Think the last time you were really, really happy. Think about the thoughts you were thinking, some wonderful thing that was happening for you. And as you focus on that memory or you think about something great coming for the future, within a few moments, you trigger the release of serotonin and you start to feel it. Not only the happiness in your heart, but you'll start to feel the effect of serotonin on your body because it works all the way down to a cellular level. Now, there are thousands of medical reports on the internet that tell you this. But knowing it in your own experience, realize that every thought you think triggers different neurochemicals that give you different feelings. There isn't a single feeling you have that just comes by accident. Even love is created by a chemical called oxytocin. What triggers the release of all these chemicals is your thoughts. Most people never work this out. Most people go, oh, out there, this is making me mad, or he's making me angry, or she's making me crazy. Well, not really. Even if the people are doing terrible things, it is your thoughts about out there that triggers the release of the chemicals. That's why you can have two people side by side who experience exactly the same thing, and one of them feels good about it and the other one feels bad. And the reason why there's that difference, even when you've got the same thing happening, is because each person thinks differently about it. Now, here's the next really important point. Serotonin not only creates this feeling of happiness and well-being, but it's also a neuroconductor. It joins the brain cells together. It allows your thought to continue on its journey. And this is what creates those aha moments where you suddenly find an answer to your problem. When you have one of those light bulb moments, you go, oh, yes, I've got the answer. I've got a new idea. I can do this. That is the brain cells joining, and the release of serotonin not only joins the brain cells and gives you the idea, but serotonin creates that feeling of motivation. So when you have the idea, you go, yeah, I can do it. And you believe it in the moment and you feel motivated to go and do it. But here's the challenge. Quite quickly after the brain cells join, you have the idea, you feel motivated, and you believe, the brain cells break back apart again. And this is why some of the latest findings from neuroscience are so important to understand. One of the findings that neuroscience has shown is that when you set goals, it helps to join the brain cells together. And the reason why this happens is because brain cells that repeatedly fire together, gradually they wire together. So when you have a thought, the brain cells join, but the connection don't stick. But if you have that idea, that light bulb moment, and then you set it as a goal, what's really important is that you remind yourself regularly of the goal. Because every time you review your goal, you're re-establishing the brain cell connection. Do that for 30 days and the brain cell connection sticks. Now, here's a really important point coming up. As you establish the brain cell connection, your thought transforms to an opinion, and as you make the connection stronger, it becomes a belief. You see, a belief, any belief you have about yourself, about life, about your ability as a energy, healing therapist, any belief you have is just a set of established brain cell connections. That's all a belief is. It's not a great mystic thing. You can make new beliefs at any time, at any age, by repeating the thought over, by imagining your goal, by telling yourself you're going to achieve your goal. Now, please understand, a lot of people think about goals, they think about sport, or they think about money or career. I like myself is a goal. I am peace. I am love. I am happy. I am confident. These are all goals. And they all work in the same way, establishing brain cell connections. I am prosperous. I am successful. I am abundant. You notice it's always worded in affirmation. And I'll explain a little bit later why this is really important to apply in your goal setting. If you want to build more belief in yourself, it's about building those brain cell connections. And this is what goal mapping does so amazingly well. The stronger you build the connection, the more you've got a knowingness, an authentic confidence, because at each level of this consciousness here, you're also releasing the chemicals that are creating feelings and attitudes and self-esteem to produce authentic confidence. The more connections we make, the more we can work with both sides of our brain. The right side of your brain is connected to spirit. That's where we receive intuition. All of our higher humanitarian emotions, love, empathy, compassion in particular, are coming from the right brain. The left brain is connected to our ego, survival instinct. It's self-centered because it's meant to protect us. And it works well when the brain's in balance, because then the right brain leads from the high self connected to spirit, and the low self, the left brain, manages our journey, helps us to be effective in our day-to-day living. Right brain's all about vision, creativity, and ideas. Left brain Strategy, plan, and action. We need both. Modern living in particular is a whole brain game. If we only have the right brain, we'll have lots of ideas, but never put any of them into action. If we only have the left brain with strategy and planning, we don't know where to go. We need both. And brain balance is not static like a set of scales. It's iterative, like the infinity sign. One side is always feeding into and influencing the other. Set your goals, and not only does it help you in your mind, but it lifts your heart with the chemical release of serotonin and nourishes your body. Serotonin is what boosts the immune system. It's been proven in endless research programs over many years that positive people heal faster from accidents or injury or surgery. Negative people heal slower because negative thinking produces cortisol. And cortisol suppresses the immune system. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, well, you probably won't. Because think negatively about yourself. Think, I can't. I'm not worth it. I'm not good enough. I don't like myself. I don't like life. Negative thinking releases cortisol. Cortisol produces the feeling of fear and anxiety. It's also a neuroinhibitor. The more negative we become, the more our brain closes down and the fear grows in our mind. And the problem looks bigger and bigger. This is a very ancient survival system that we've evolved with through our evolution from animals. And it has worked well over the years to protect us thousands and thousands of years ago when the daily danger would have been a wild animal that wanted to eat us. We want to go into fear when we're in that situation and either fight or flight and run away from the bear. But in modern life, the problems are very different. It's not an angry bear, it's an angry Bill that wants paying. Or it's a broken heart that's looking for love. Or a lost soul looking for direction. Many people are in a false fear. They have a false expectation of the future that seems real to them. We call this false fear worry. And your brain really doesn't know the difference between a real life-threatening danger and a worry. And when you worry, it triggers the release of cortisol, which sends you down, even though there isn't a particular reason for it. The thing you're worrying about hasn't even happened yet. You're just picturing the darkness in your mind. So life's modern problems need those creative solutions, as I said a few moments ago, and to find them, we need to engage in whole brain thinking. We need to use both our logical left as well as our creative right brain. And it's setting goals that helps us to make those connections, to activate both sides of our brain, the left brain thinking in words and the right brain thinking in pictures. Goal mapping works so amazingly well to achieve this. In addition, goal mapping is activating different levels of the mind. Subconscious mind, conscious mind, but also connecting to superconscious mind or universal consciousness. My children's book teaches that your subconscious is like a magical genie. The genie is all powerful. Your subconscious can do many amazing things. Your subconscious genie can help your wishes come true, but it cannot wish for you. With your conscious mind, you are master of the magic lamp. And with your conscious mind, you make the choices and you set the goals for your subconscious to follow. The way in which you command your subconscious is through the thoughts that you think. And every thought you think forms an inner picture in your mind, an inner selfie. In psychology, this is known as a self-image, the image you have in your mind of yourself. It works like a blueprint. Every moment of every day, your subconscious is reading your inner selfie, your self-image, and using it as a template, as a mold, a blueprint for the way that your life should be and you should be within your life. If you've got an inner picture of success for any area of your life, yourself, your work, your ability to help other people, then your subconscious works with you, releases all the chemicals, helps you to feel good and positive and confident so that you can achieve that success on the outside in your life. But one of the challenges or limitations with the subconscious mind is that it cannot choose for you. It doesn't understand abstract thought. If you start to worry and think about missing the target, your subconscious gets confused and creates self-sabotage. This is why all top sports people around the world have now a mindset coach, not just a physical training coach. They have the physical training coach to build muscle. They have the mindset coach to help them stay focused on their goal. Because even with the most skilled athletes, if they start to think, I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss, they miss. Or if they start to think, oh, I'm not confident today, I'm not confident, their confidence goes. Because whatever thought we think, it releases the chemicals and commands the subconscious, and that all influences our results. I find so many people have a sad or negative picture of themselves deep down inside. And of course, it's creating some element of sadness in their life. The more we hold a picture of liking and loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, being pleased with ourselves, the more we bring natural, authentic confidence and self-belief to our life. And we start to live it. The very best like you will ever get isn't the one that's on Facebook. It's the one you give to yourself. I like myself. My coach years ago saw how low my self-esteem was. He said, right, Brian, tomorrow morning you're getting up, you're walking in the bathroom, you're looking in the bathroom mirror first thing in the morning, and you're going to say 5 times with feeling, I like myself. I thought, oh, that sounds really simple and a bit too cheesy, but I'll give it a go. I couldn't do it. The eye is the window to the soul. And the truth was, I didn't like myself. And I couldn't look myself in the eye in the mirror and say, I like myself because it wasn't true. And I could see in my eyes it wasn't true. I had to force the words out of my mouth. I like myself. But the amazing thing is, after saying it 5 or more times, I started to get this warm glow in my heart. And then I started to feel happy and I smiled because it's almost impossible to speak the words aloud, I like myself, while looking yourself in the eye without triggering the release of serotonin. Serotonin gives you the feeling of happiness and well-being, and the feeling is real. You've got to build the muscle by doing the daily practice. It took me years and quite a lot of tears of saying I like myself before I could bring myself to say I love myself. You may have noticed, because everybody talks about it, that there's a lot of potholes in our roads. And The situation is so bad and so dangerous for people on a bicycle or a motorcycle that the trainers have now changed the training they give to people when they're learning either on a bicycle training course or a motorcycle course. And what they're teaching them is this: be aware of the hole, but whatever you do, don't stare at the hole. Because if you stare at the hole, your subconscious will take it as the goal and automatically steer you to the hole. My daughter's a ski instructor. They teach the same thing to people learning to ski. If you stare at the tree, you become fixed on it, you will ski straight into that tree. They teach the same thing to racing car drivers. If you stare at the crash barrier, you are going to the crash barrier. You see, you always move towards what you focus on most. Now, life is a path and there will be holes in the path. And so we need to be aware of the hole, but don't stare at the hole. Whether that's a hole in your path ahead or a hole in yourself. Be aware of the things you want to improve in yourself, but don't overly focus on them, because otherwise you just increase them. Make sure that your dominant focus is on where you want to go and who you choose to be as a person. Now, how do you do that? Do it every day. Do it in a simple way so it doesn't take loads of time. Use your goal map. Every time you look at your map, you're reinforcing those brain cell connections and command to your subconscious that says, okay, I see the hole, here's where I'm going. Okay, see the negative, but I'm being positive. It's a simple daily reminder, which is my maps are still here. I've been teaching the system for years and years, but I still create and use on a daily basis my own maps. I look at them once a day, early in the morning, say the words to reinforce all of my brain cell connections, give myself the best feelings so that I can take positive action through the day. So why don't more people achieve their goals then? Well, for most people, they simply don't know how to set the goal. It is a science, goal setting. It's a science. It's a very ancient science. When something is a science, it simply means there's a right way and a wrong way. There's a way that works, there's a way that doesn't work. Some people never ever write their goals down. They say, oh yeah, I know what I want, I think about it. Well, you also worry about what you don't want and you think about that, and the two thoughts cancel each other out. And so it's not very powerful. That's why most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. Other people write down loads of words about their goals, endless statements, paragraph after paragraph, detail. Some even use a formula like SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, but really they're quite dumb goals because they're missing most of the key principles. And when you're using lots of words, it only stimulates the left side of the brain. And it's not enough. It's incomplete. Success is a whole brain game. And so it doesn't work for most people. Now, over the years, last 20 years, dream boards and vision boards have become very popular. And I think it's a big improvement on only using words, but there is still a limitation, and that is that many of the dream boards and vision boards don't have any words. Or if they do, it's incomplete, it's minimal. You see, words allow us to be exact. We can give quantity. We can say how much, how many, by when. That's difficult to do in picture form. The other thing that's often missing in a dream board is a plan or a timeline. These are, again, important aspects that make goal mapping work. I have so many people come to me with their vision boards and they've got some great imagery and good feelings they've captured and they've got a good dream, but there's no detail, there's no achievement target date to aim for, there's no plan. It's just sort of hoping it's going to happen. And again, I find that the dream board systems I've looked at are incomplete. Goal mapping started in 1994. There were no dream boards, and nobody was talking about dream boards or even using pictures in goals. It was all about just writing them down, line after line after line back then. And the reason why goal mapping works is it's whole brain. It uses the combination of both. Edmund often says a goal map is like the Rolls Royce of dream boards. It's like a dream board plus, plus, plus. And I don't want to insult anybody's dream board system, but I've worked with some of the top people in the world now, and they tell me that goal mapping, this unique structure of words and pictures, has something very special about it, and that it is super effective. So let's take a look at the structure of a map then. Right in the center, because it's not just about the words and pictures, right? Left brain, right brain, high self, low self. Within the map are all the crucial elements. So right in the middle, we've got a main goal. And then on either side of the main goal, through the center, we've got more goals. So 5 in total on the map. Now, these can be from all different areas of life, or they can all be focused on one area. And I'm recommending to you that you create a goal map that's focused on having more self-belief and having more self-confidence. Now, at the top of the map are your motivating reasons why this is important to achieve. Those reasons want to be emotional, not logical. And then when? A start date and a target date to aim for. Doesn't mean you have to achieve it by that date, but you at least want a date to aim for, because then you can engage in the next step. How? What are the things you will need to do? Sometimes daily things you do, little habits, or sometimes they are over a period of months or even years that you need to do this and get this qualification, and then you take this course to achieve your goal. Final aspect, who? Whose help do you desire, require to achieve your goal? Sometimes the who is you, sometimes it's other people, sometimes it might be a course you're going to attend. Is the who that helps you with the how to move towards the what, the goal, and the why, which is right at the top of the map. Now, when I first started teaching goal mapping in 1995, everybody went, wow, never seen anything like that. I did my research, I looked all around the world, nobody else was teaching anything like it. I copyrighted it, I trademarked it, I started getting invited to present it loads of different places because it was different, it was new, people had never seen anything like it. But then in 1999, 5 years later, I was invited to a Hindu ceremony in London. And I sat down in the temple watching the Brahmin priest, and I was absolutely amazed to see the Brahmin priest chanting a mantra while drawing a yantra, words and pictures. And the words here in Sanskrit, I am peace, I am happy, I am love. The yantra is a power pattern drawing that represents the words in different ways. And it's not just the Hindus that do this, and they've been doing it 10,000 years, predates most of Hinduism, but the Buddhists do likewise. Chant a mantra with words while drawing a mandala using colored sand or sometimes colored rice. You'll find it also in Zoroastrianism. In fact, it's everywhere in the ancient world, this balanced combination of words and pictures. Pick up any children's book, you'll find the same thing. In the ancient world, the words were always written in affirmation. We're going to take a look in a little while about how you write affirmation, because I find that a lot of coaches and trainers, therapists don't fully understand it. Equally as important, visualization. Affirmation and visualization create whole brain activation and help us with self-realization. That we take our thought and we turn it into reality. So, words and pictures, left brain, right brain. This is a screen grab of my Google Maps. And take a look. Words, left brain data, imagery, right brain pattern. We need both. When I'm up to the roundabout, like all the driving I did, especially in Italy recently, I need to look at the pattern to see which turning I need to take. As soon as I'm on the straight road, I want to see the data. How far is it? How many miles to the next turning? I'm looking at the data. I need both words and pictures. This is also the power with goal mapping. There are 7 steps we're going to go through to create the goal map. Tonight, we're just going to get started with step 1, but I'm going to show you how you can follow through with all of the others. The first step, dream. What do you want to achieve? We're going to go through a little guided visualization. Step 2, left brain. Identify what is the main goal for you. And my suggestion is the main goal for tonight should be, I believe in myself, or I am confident, or maybe both together. I believe in myself and feel confident. Step 3 is going to be to add imagery so that we're balancing out the words and the pictures. And then step 4, why? What are your strongest emotional reasons? When? What's your target date? And for a goal like this, I recommend just 30 days. And to use your map for 30 days. Then how? What are you going to do to help it? One thing might be look at my map every day. Right? Who? Will it just be you? Are you going to work together with someone else? You're going to have an accountability buddy? 7 simple steps. Follow the steps, it creates the map. When we are helping people with their goal maps, they often send them to me and Vicky and want feedback. Here's a screen grab of the map that someone sent a while ago and said, can you give us some feedback? They haven't even put in any pictures. None of these statements are a goal affirmation. They're just words. Even the middle one, which is close to an affirmation, isn't, because it's voiced in the negative. This will never command your subconscious. You'll never achieve these as goals. They're written in totally the wrong way. And I'm expressing my opinion strongly here because I see it again and again and again. And if you're going to do this, you're wasting your time. Now, here's some ancient wisdom that most people never learn. Even I've seen really high-level coaches and trainers that never learn this and don't teach it. You can share this with your own clients if you wish. There are 7 keys for writing powerful affirmation. Here's the first one. Always use personal language. I. That's you being the commander, the creator. I am that I am. You can use we if you're doing a map together with someone else. Here's the next key. Positive. Always say what you want. Many people don't. They say what they don't want. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be overweight. Your subconscious genie doesn't understand don't. If you want to see it in real simple ways, observe a young child, a toddler. Tell a toddler don't touch. What do? Touch. Because very young children, their conscious mind isn't developed, as we were talking about earlier. The subconscious can't process don't. And so when someone says don't touch, the child touches. When we're grown up, we can work out don't touch means keep the hand away. But the subconscious is still working in the same way. And so when we set our goals, we need to make sure we're saying what we want and not what we don't want. Present. We need to write our goal in an affirmation like it's already a reality, because the subconscious doesn't understand time. You can write your goal, I have, I earn, I own, I do, I am. Even if you are not yet, you must say it that way and visualize it that way. Purposeful. The more meaning you have in your goal, the more power you will have. Passionate. Use emotional words in your affirmation. Pronounced. Make the words stand out by using capital letters at the beginning. Proportionate. So when you're writing affirmation, not too many words, but not too few. You want to find your Goldilocks zone, the amount that is just right for you and for your affirmation. So here's this real life example that someone sent in to me and Vicky. And if you applied those 7 keys we just looked at, see now how these statements are transformed. Let's start with the middle one. I don't want to be alone. It's really simple. Turn it into the positive. I find my perfect partner. Friends, that doesn't mean anything. It's a single word statement. Okay. What is it? What does a person really want? I make new friends and treasure old. Enjoy life. Well, it's given a little more detail, but it's not an affirmation. There's no I, for instance. I love living a freedom lifestyle is an affirmation that has emotion and power. My children are happy. We cannot make someone else happy. What we can do is set up the conditions for other people around us to be happy. I support my children to be happy. People like me. We can't make anyone like us. It's false when we do that. People will always make up their own mind, no matter how good a person we try to be. But we can look for the best in everyone, and generally that tends to cause people to see the best in us. So it's time to create the map. Now, there are 2 ways of creating your goal map. You can create your goal map on paper. Simply go to the goal mapping website, download the free paper templates, print them out, take some time tomorrow or maybe later tonight if you want to stay up, get some colouring pens and pencils, do your map on paper. Myself and Vicky, we did one on paper just recently. It's a fun, creative process. It is more powerful, though, to do your map online. And within the goal mapping platform, which everybody has free access to, and I know Edmund has shared the link to it for people to be able to sign up, you can create a goal map at the free level. If I just change over to the website for a moment, go to My Maps. I've got to put in my code, so I won't do it now. But if you click here where it says Goal Maps, My Maps, and then you click on the orange button that says Create Map, and it's going to come up with a page that looks like this. Now we're just going to go through the first step tonight. At each step, there's a little video that will give you a short guidance, just like a minute long, some of them less than that. It's a really simple process, or if you don't want to use the video, you follow the simple text instruction. It's quick, it's easy. There's an image library where you can upload images into your map and you can use your personal pictures. The thing that I would like to give you is the guided visualization. And if you have a pad of paper and pen just to write down afterwards, we're just going to spend 5 minutes. I'll go through the visualization. I'll then show you how to use your map, and we'll wrap up for this evening. We're probably going to go 5 minutes or so over the scheduled time. I got carried away earlier enjoying myself making the presentation, and so didn't quite keep my eye on the clock. Hope that's okay with everyone, but if you need to leave, remember we are recording. You can catch it up afterwards. But if you want to sit back for a moment, put everything down, close your eyes if it's safe for you to do that. And we're just going to go through the visualization. We're going to start with some relaxation. So I'd like you to take a deep breath in, please, through your nose. Breathe out slowly through your mouth. And as you breathe out through your mouth, I'd like you to say the word relax 3 times to yourself and in your first language, your mother tongue, please. Once more now, deep breath in through your nose. And this time as you breathe out slowly through your mouth, saying, I am 3 times to yourself and in your own language. And once more now, a deep breath in through your nose. And this time as you breathe out slowly through your mouth, saying, within 3 times to yourself and in your own language. Relax. I am within. I'd like you to imagine a stream of relaxation flowing into the top of your head, like a beam of white light, soothing, calming, relaxing all of the areas that it touches. Imagine now relaxing your scalp, your forehead, your cheeks, your tongue, and your jaw. Give yourself permission to relax those areas completely, becoming more and more gently relaxed now with each easy breath that you take, and each sound that you hear sends the relaxation deeper. Imagine now relaxing your neck, your shoulders, your hands and your arms, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Give yourself permission to relax those areas completely, becoming more and more gently relaxed now as the relaxation moves even deeper. Relaxing your chest, relaxing your stomach, into your hips, thighs, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. A gentle wave of relaxation softly flowing through your body. I'd like you to imagine now walking along a beautiful sandy seashore. Clear blue skies above you, soft rolling waves, and a warm sun shining down upon your skin. As you stroll along this beautiful, carefree beach, you find a small blue bottle poking from the sand. As you pick up the bottle, the top comes open, and there appears a large blue shining genie. The genie says, "Your wish is my command. Anything you truly desire, I will grant you." I want you to take yourself forward in time now, please, knowing you have the power to create yourself and your life exactly as you would choose it to be. And take a walk through an ideal day that represents you being your best and living your best life. Starting from when you first awake in the morning. What is the scene that greets you? Are you living in the same home where you live now, or have you moved to a new home, in a new location, maybe in another country in the world? Notice how you start your best day. Maybe making time for early morning exercise or inspiring reading, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. Maybe working with gratitude. Notice you make time for a healthy, balanced breakfast and move through your day, noticing how you are more confident and greater in your belief than you've ever been before, and the great difference it makes in all the important areas of your life, helping you to be more confident in your work, having more belief about your ability to make a difference to others. Notice how greater belief and confidence help you shine in social settings with friends, more empowering to your community and family, feeling great about yourself, high levels of self-worth, self-acceptance, self-esteem, and self-belief. Connect with all of the different sites of your life being improved by higher levels of self-belief and self-confidence. Notice all the detail that's important for you. And when you're ready, come back to the present moment. Open your eyes, have a little stretch and a yawn to bring yourself back into waking state. And now quite quickly, please, I want you to note down on a piece of paper 5 things that you just thought about. Could be 5 aspects of yourself or 5 ways in which you see your life was improved by having greater levels of confidence and self-belief. I'm just going to take a moment while you write. Now, as soon as you wish to, and some people do it absolutely immediately, either work with the paper templates, but I encourage you to try the online system. And I'm now in the live website. So this is my self-esteem goal map. Remember, if you are using the online and you're new to goal mapping, you've not done it before, and when you join goal mapping, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. This is the home page. You won't see these maps here because they're my maps. But the place you want to go is here, where it says my maps, and then here where it says create map. And you want to do a goal map. And you're going to write your goals here in this box. And I really encourage you to write them as affirmation. So remember, that's capital letters. Now, the first goal that is going to be in the middle, the main goal, really wants to be something like, I believe in myself and feel confident. If you click add dream, it will put it down to the bottom, and then you write the next one and the next one. I want you to have 5. Now, we've already gone a couple of minutes over time, so I don't intend to do the whole of the map here tonight in real time. But if I go to my maps, and I have a lot of goal maps, here's my self-esteem goal map. And I encourage you, play with the way that you say I like myself or I believe in myself and feel confident. I've got I like myself completely in heart, mind, body, and soul. It sort of feels nice when I say it. I like myself completely in heart and mind and body and soul. And I know that by liking myself, it builds my confidence and it builds my self-belief. And you see, I've got 4 more goals down here as well underneath it. All of them written, personal, positive, present tense. You've got an edit button so that you can edit your statements at any time, as should you wish to, and often you will because you'll see small improvements you want to make. And then in step 2, order, left brain, you want to make sure that you have got the main goal of believing in yourself and liking yourself right in the center. And you can move any of the goals around. You simply click on the one you want to move, and then you click where you want it to move to, and it will move there. Just click and click. And you can move any of the goals to any of the different positions. In the next step, step 3, you add the imagery so that you're activating both sides of your brain. Now, sometimes I use my own drawings, like here. This is something I drew more than 20 years ago, and I like it. And so I uploaded it into the online system, and I use it often. Other times I've got pictures of me and Vicky. Here we're having some fun with Mudpack, or here I was on a speaking tour in Scandinavia. If you hover over your words, you'll see these symbols come up. You've got the edit button again for the words, but you've also got the image library. Now you can upload your own images. You can see I've got lots of my images here uploaded. You simply go to upload image. It'll go into your personal folder. Only you will see them. Or for quickness, go to the categories and you can click on any of the categories and up will come the images. Click on any image you want. It will go directly into your goal map. And I'll put this one in for now, just to show you how the system works. And it's the same with the coming step. You write the words and then you add the imagery. And the why wants to be emotional. What are your strongest reasons? Got a picture here of my mother. She passed just 2 months ago and she was 98, but she was a reason for me to be my best. Another big reason for me is to fulfill my purpose of helping live 7 million lives, and the energy to live my best life with Vicky, because there's a lot of things we plan to do. On step 5, today's date, or the date that you do your map, will come up automatically at the bottom. And then you want to choose an achievement date to aim for. And I recommend 1 month. You can update at any point. So when you get to 1 month, you can say, all right, I'm going to go another month or another month. But updating your map once a month really helps to strengthen those brain cell connections. In step 6, this is the doing part. How? What are you going to do? For me, it's things like looking at my map every day, doing my mudra breathing with some short meditation and journaling. Only takes me probably 20 minutes in total, but it means I start my day in a good way. I look at my maps, I do my mudra breathing, I write in my journal. I normally draw a rune stone from the bag I've got and see what inspiration it gives me for the day. And then practice holistic daily self-care. If you want to add more detail, there's a to-do list option where you can give more and more detail to any of these 3 main things that you're going to do. Always the combination of words and pictures. The more personal the picture, the more powerful, because it triggers a lot of brain cell stimulation. And then the final aspect too, whose help do you need? Often the who will be you. If the who is you, make sure you're writing the statement as an affirmation. Saying your name will not command your subconscious. Saying confident will not command your subconscious. But saying it as an affirmation, I am confident, will trigger the chemical release that will give you the feeling of confidence. And the more you say it, the stronger the feeling will become. And then out pops your map. And you can change any aspect of your map at any time. And if you will look at it once a day, new ideas will come. New ideas on the words, new pictures you want to use. Every time you update your map, even if you just change one word, you're strengthening the brain cell connection. Download it right here so that you can print it out. Because having your map on paper is much, much more powerful than just seeing it digital on a screen. Now you can have it as a screensaver. I've got the screensaver here on my mobile. I've got screensavers on my laptop. I've got digital maps galore. But I also print out my important maps because it allows you to follow through with the goal mapping ritual. And the goal mapping ritual is very simple, take you just a few minutes each day, but so important. Because remember, it's not just setting the goal, it's reviewing the goal that forms those brain cell connections. And so the ritual is find a way to use your map every day. Live it. Print it out, bring it into the physical so you can sign it. All of my maps are signed because when you sign something, psychologically, you are giving your promise. It's like a bit of ancient magic. Even for people that couldn't write, they would say, make your mark, because it's somebody saying, yes, all right, I would do it, I agree. Sign your map, you're telling your subconscious you're going to follow through. See it. Early in the morning is best. Put your map up somewhere you can see it. I've got 2 maps on my bedroom wall. I've got my maps here in my folder because I'm often away. Some people put their map on the refrigerator door. Bedroom wall is good because first thing that you wake up is the most powerful time to look at your map. When you very, very first wake up, you have the greatest connection to your subconscious and the greatest level of influence over commanding your subconscious. Now, as you look at the pictures, say the words. Always this combination of words and pictures. Share it. Share it with the people you're comfortable with. not with people that are going to ridicule you in some way. Share it with someone like Edmund, who will give you good feedback, or share it with me and Vicky, we'll give you feedback. Share it with friends and family if you feel it's appropriate for you. But sharing your map demonstrates belief in yourself. And again, the focus of the map here is about building belief and confidence. And as I've mentioned several times, update it. Because every time you update the map, you strengthen that brain cell connection, and gradually you engage in whole brain activation. Now, we've gone over time, so I'm going to wrap up in just a moment. And before I do so, let me just say we run free masterclasses every month for people to live their best life, goal maps for happiness and self-worth, well-being, financial freedom, harmonious relationships. And our next one, coming up in July, absolutely free, is focused on purposeful living, finding and following your purpose in life and creating a map for that. All of which, if you follow through and do your maps, helps you to form those brain cell connections. And so we run the masterclasses. We also have group coaching, which you can ask to come on as a guest. That's how Edmund started out with goal mapping, with the coaching. And we run wisdom workshops in the daytime. And the next one is coming up on, don't know, I have to look. I think it's Saturday, the middle of March somewhere. Maybe it's the 15th or something. The really important thing we have coming up is a certified masterclass training where people are interested in teaching, coaching, goal mapping. We share all about how you work with it with other people, whether that's within your therapy or coaching or training. And that'll be on a Saturday, 4th of July, 2 hours, 10 till 12. You can register for any of the events here on our events page. And most of them are free. Simply click on the event you want to join and click register. And we'll send you an email and a reminder. You can also download the paper templates and do a life map about being your best, or an action map about changing habit patterns. I recommend you'll have a better experience at the moment by using the paper templates with these maps. Nice creative process. But you can also use the online. But for the life map and the goal map, life map and action map, I would suggest downloading the paper templates. In our Gold Lounge, we have a number of success centers. So up in the header, Gold Lounge, inside you'll see these 7 success centers, and inside each one of them is focused information for that life area. So in the self-worth one, we've got simple short video. Here's the visualization, similar to the one we did just now. Quick link to do your map. There's a journal that you can use to help you understand more and deeper content that you can engage in if you wish to. If you're sharing the map with us, or if you're following through on the life path journey, we're also creating one-to-one private coaching pages where we can give feedback that stays personal to you. And to make the journey, you're going to create all the different maps. If that's something you're interested in, there's information on the website about it. We even have the world's top coaches like Tony Robbins endorsing the system. And do hope that you decide to join us on the 4th of July, where we'll be talking about how you can take a professional pathway with goal mapping. We have different levels of certification: coach, facilitator, and practitioner. Everything that is needed is included. It's an international license. There's resource centers for manuals and videos and You learn how to work with goal mapping on paper or online. It's a self-development program for you as well as a business opportunity to use with clients. Simple learning journey, and all the marketing materials are there, money back guarantee, and lifetime membership to the community, of which Edmund has been such an important part. No renewal fees, of course. It's once you're paid, and you can access the material forever. We don't time limit it like so many people do. If you'd like to know more, you can book a personal call with me and Vicky, or, as I mentioned, come to the presentation on the 4th if you can. We will record if you're not able to make the day when it comes to it. It's gone way over time. Ever so sorry. Well, partly sorry and partly I was having some fun, so feel good about it. I hope it was good for everyone. I hope it hasn't challenged anyone's evening by going over time. I'm going to leave now.
Brian, thanks very much for the presenting. It has been a fantastic evening, and I know that everybody that has been on here has found it hugely beneficial. So I thank you so much to you and Vicky for making it happen, and I will share it with our IET community as well.
Thank you. And the last thing I'll say is glad you enjoyed it, but even if we had 4, 5, 6 hours for me to speak, that's not the most important thing because it won't program your subconscious. The most important thing is you go do your map. That's that's what programs your subconscious. It works. That's why it's reached 6 million people and going more than 30 years. It works, but you still got to work it, not just listen to me talk about it. So go create your map, and if you want to, you can share it, and we'll give you feedback, either Edmund, me, or Vicky. I wish you lots of love. And once again, apologies for 20 minutes over time. See you soon. Take care. Bye for now.